I was talking to other people, so I missed it. Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio, the number one source for all things Indiepocalypse, your growing source for, I would say, the game art development world at large. 2024 can Indiepocalypse Radio become the premier place if you just want to hear game devs and other indie artists just bullshit around. The premise, I'm trying to find a snapper way to say it, but it's like, you know how people hang out after a con and they chat. This show is like, what if you just were listening to those people do that? I don't know if that makes it a good show to listen to, but it's a fun show to participate in. I'm Andrew. I'm your host of the show. The show is, it's small 20-minute chats with different developers individually, more or less, split up by pirate radio, and then a group chat at the end. That's the premise. That's the what's the word I'm looking for? That's the premise of the show. I'm Andrew. I said that already. Indiepocalypse is, of course, the monthly alternative anthology of games where a bunch of games get put into a pile. And you know what? I can't. I cannot. This is not a Twitch stream. If there are ads, there are ads. That is life. Listen to this. I try to get rid of them. I don't think it's possible to get rid of them. That is like an impossibility. Should I use a different platform? Maybe. Though people are weird and like, I don't want to go to Beam.tv. But anyway, enough about platforms, I suppose. We are here. Let's get to the guests who have their own platforms of types. And we'll starting with Bayou of I was like, now see, the problem with non-indie apocalypse guests is sometimes I don't know where to get, to introduce them as their bodies of work. So yeah, I say Tofu Rocks, Project Enso, Queer Halloween Stories Bundle. Hello, Bayou. How you doing today?
Howdy, howdy. Thanks for the intro, Andrew.
Did I?
Very glad to be here after all this time. Usually, the show happens when I'm working, which is
Yes.
unfortunate, but I'm very happy to have taken the day off to join you.
Glad to
Very
have
excited.
Glad to have you taking the day off to join. This is a I've I've had the fortune of for a long time being a Monday to Friday kind of person. No working on the weekends for me. To the point where my new job not even open on the weekends. They just shut down.
Well, today is the first snow we've gone over in Indiana, so kind of like a very lazy day. Didn't want to get up.
Cool.
Um, so yeah,
I've
that's
got
been
it.
happening.
I've got it coming my way in New England supposedly tomorrow.
Oh, that's fun.
I do. I love, just like early January. Great time for a first snow. It's totally normal. But anyway, and not that all aside, um, I ran down an extensive bit of credits and I nailed them all. I presume, right? I didn't miss any no glaring omissions.
Nope, that
Perfect.
is the most exciting stuff to my name at this time.
And for people who don't know what that exciting stuff is, what is it? Tell me about it.
So, Tofu Rocks is kind of my personal label. Personally, I've kind of had a hard time defining what my kind of signature is as a indie developer. So rather than pigeonhole myself into like a very specific genre, I just kind of say queer stuff in all senses of the word. So
Yeah.
like queer as in LGBT, queer as in also like weird, and right now, I pride myself as a writer, so mostly narrative stuff, visual novels, interactive fiction, that kind of stuff. As for Project Enso, I publisher in the very strictest sense of I put your games on somewhere else. That used to be Google Play, and moving more towards Steam since Google Play has actually become a lot more hostile to indie developers. I could talk more about that later. But just one thing that I've always wanted to do is just help other people get their games out there to more people.
Yeah, right. Because you'll find no arguments there. It is a difficult. Not. It's very annoying to be the creator promoter face, the turning each artist into the everything artist, or the entirety of the publishing infrastructure. It's too much for
For sure, for sure.
leaves very little room for actually making art. Especially because it kind of like a publisher, I think, can also help to massage the or like helps you have to worry about like virality as much if you can just like establish as a publisher, because then people will pay attention to a publisher, and it's not like, oh, I have to make sure my game has the right kind of things, that I have to, is there a dog in it, or whatever.
And you pet the dog like changed the face of the industry for a long, long time. And honestly, more games with pets, you can see the effects of that. Um,
Truly,
but
truly.
yeah,
uh,
um, publishers, I've just been in talks with so many people who are hunting down for publisher funding. Some people who are trying their best to avoid publishers so that way they could like keep their games, their visions. And as someone who's like, yeah, I'll put your game on somewhere if you also hate dealing with the paperwork, I kind of like in that weird crossroads where, funding is hard to obtain and also, um, retaining your independence as a developer is also important. So, even though I've yet to have one of my own games featured in Indiepocalypse, always a big fan of the mission that you've done, Andrew.
well, thank you. This is not. It is like a complicated sort of thing, and I am very much like I'm. It's weird. I've realized how like much, um, like you talked about Google Play, um, becoming more hostile to indie developers. The whole like sort of like, where do indie developers retreat to? It feels like there is like, the lower the budget you have, the more indie you have. It's increasing. Like, where does this person retreat to? If I can't get to Google Play, okay. Well, if Steam is too big for like, if Steam is now being dominated by multi-million-dollar projects constantly, where does the independent person go? Itch perhaps, but that is also like just like a giant pile of games, more or less. um,
For sure. I see a couple of people wanting to know a little bit more about why I say Google Play is actually starting to become a little more hostile to the indie developer. So, I started publishing on Google Play a couple of years ago. I was actually featured in the We Are Play initiative, where they took a couple of developers from each state of the US to feature in a book with a series of interviews. I think they expanded the project to be worldwide, but back then they're getting a whole bunch of kind of smaller time developers with a couple of apps to, hear their voices, why they went to Google Play to publish things. And one of the big things I said back then was that it's a lot easier to have like these very unique games, very personal experiences on a phone rather than, there used to be the concept of the family computer. You have it set up in the living room, everyone has their turn on it, and that obviously does not lead to much privacy. One of the big things that I used to believe in and still believe in is that, young queer people really do need to see themselves in media. So having a story that you can play on your phone, something that, sit in bed, play it, away from the eyes of your parents or whoever else might not approve.
yeah.
Very important for giving solace to those people. So back when I was more active on Google Play, I think like Circa 2018 or so, it was actually relatively easy to get games onto the Play console. What it was like, you pay $25 for your developer account, and then you could pretty much upload all the games that you can maintain and stuff. So it was really easy to get games on there. But shoot, I forget. Google Play, they introduced the .aab format, which is like their Android app bundle format. This supposedly made it like a lot smaller for people to download. But what it was is that it actually made the process for uploading games to a console a whole lot more complicated. That's when I kind of stopped being active on Google Play, and it's just kind of gone downhill from there. More recently, they've introduced a thing where you have to get like 10 beta testers on a new app, which, for a corporation or a company that's got like, a physical office location, 10 beta testers, that's easy to get. But when you're talking about indie developers who are working literally outside of the bedrooms, this is like a huge hurdle for people to jump over. So,
Yeah.
one of the interesting thing is that I've actually seen Google Play start doing a lot more initiatives for, indie developers, smaller companies to, bring their games to mobile. But this kind of disparity is like, oh yeah, we'll give you money to publish on our platform, and then also once you're on your platform, to do all these ridiculous things, your game has to constantly be updating because we don't understand the service of or the concept of a non-service game.
Right. That
So
feels like that's like one of the biggest killers is like, oh, you need to maintain a game forever or else it gets delisted. Uh,
yeah, like I've had to update a couple games that like, they're done, they're finished. You're not going to get any more content. And then Google Play will be like, "Oh, you have to update the billing library to version so and so." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just rebuild it from the engine and then update it, and there's nothing new.
right.
There is nothing new."
Yeah,
But
that is
that's
like
how Google Play rolls.
right. There's this kind of like just like this endless sort of. I mean, I feel like also the encroachment of service game is kind of like creeping in everywhere. You know, that it feels like every game is sort of like trending towards like, oh, what if we were or like the forever game, the eternal update game. Seems like it's becoming
Yeah, for sure. Like, you can go onto, the Apple App Store, Google Play, whatever you use on your phone, and then, it will show you Genshin Impact, Fate Stay, Grand Order, what you call it, Roblox, all of these like huge games that, have the weekly updates, the weekly maintenance, etc. And, these are the top earners because they have in-app purchases. People hate um paying for apps like upfront on mobile, but you say this is a free to start game, and then you could buy like, thousands of gems for $99,
right.
and people will eat that up, and it's just like I I was a kid. I remember when you could go to the store, buy a game, and it was complete. And, even buying like a single DLC that was just an add-on to the game. I remember those days. So this shift towards the game is not finished until it's dead and, won't be available anymore is just it's not realistic for a lot of indie developers working at a level.
No, it's not like uh, even like oh, what somebody wants to make. I don't have in my blood the desire to ever make a live service game. Or a
It
game
just
that
takes so many resources, and even
right.
if the revenue flows in steadily, that's being put back into development of something that's never finished until it's dead.
Right. It feels like very much games as skewing closer to software than they do like art or anything.
I feel that deep in my soul.
Like oh, I need to make sure I get my next Genshin update. I need to update my slot machines more so I get different animes within them. Oh, I gotta get my anime JPEGs, or else what'll I do? I'll never survive. But anyway, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe that's what I should. I should get into the anime JPEG business. What am I doing here? I mean, they're probably technically like PNGs or something because they have transparency. Um, I should get into the anime PNG industry.
I've honestly wondered like how people even break into that without, getting a deal on a major IP.
I think that's all it is. Is you just like contact someone, and you go, "This is our thing. This is the." You just look at whatever is the most popular format. You copy that wholesale basically, but you plug in like different characters from whatever IP you happen to have. I would not be surprised if tons of them are just like all just the same company, just like I'm plugging in new models of a different thing, my new favorite intellectual property, and
Change the user interface a little bit, and bam, it's a new game.
right. But that's just a side of games, you know. That's I think that's like the biggest market side of games, but I think that'll exist everywhere, and you know it's sort of impossible for an indie dev to think about competing with that sort of thing. In a way, it's like an entirely different world, you know.
For sure. And like it's one that, I don't even recognize anymore.
Right, and I think it feels like it takes up just too much. Uh, the problem with games is everyone feels the need to think about the entirety of them all the time, and you can just not do that. It's very easy. There's like I feel like people are getting closer to realizing that you don't need to think about all games all the time. There's like a finite number of them that you have to that like you can just like I don't care about this or that or whatever, and just like you could live your life on itch and never play another. You could just you could live your life on games that were made 20 years ago, and you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, like I was even browsing some of the major bundles that I picked up like years ago, like the bundle for racial equality. I found a couple of Android games to play that are like they haven't been updated in ages, but they're complete games, and I've been having a blast with them. You don't need to go on and follow like the big updating games. Itch has so many hidden gems, and you know, just take a chance on something, you'll find your new favorite.
Yeah,
That's what I've been trying to tell people this whole time, but then, they're like, oh, I'll just wait until it comes on Steam. Missing out on so much.
yeah. Like, have you even played the Portopia serial murder case? I haven't yet, but it lives out there. Unity. Oh, right. There was that gross AI thing. Okay. I was like, what does that have to do? But yeah, there's like, that is like also there's like the huge realm of like classics that gaming has a very as a medium is very bad at. It's got a very bad canon, honestly. Uh,
For sure, yeah.
I think a lot. I talk about it on the show all the time. I love that GQ list because it's like wow. Uh, I have not no faith, but clearly like game canonization is so incredibly recent and incredibly traditional. Uh, it's like it's like it runs through the entirety of like culture. It's like a long running process before people kind of decouple from that in any sort of meaningful way. I think. It's a couple from just paying attention to what is ever the huge broad releases of the day.
Yeah, I think FOMO has a big thing to play in that too, fear of
Yeah.
missing out. Like, one thing I actually saw across my Twitter timeline, unfortunately, I still have to use it for, work.
No, listen.
But someone described modern fandom as like a hive of locusts. They go to one field, which is, any piece of media, they gobble it up. It's all you hear about for like, a couple of weeks. And then, after that, no one talks about it anymore. They've moved on to the next piece of media. And I feel like not just games, but everything is moving towards that trend. Consume and move on. And you don't have, fandoms that last 20 years anymore. It's just like, it's all the rage for 2, 3 weeks. And then after that, there's not a whisper of it.
Yeah,
It's kind of harrowing
and
to
to
think
think
about it that way.
and yeah, and I think even worse than that, it's sort of like fandom as the main model of artistic uh, like engaging with art, fandom being like becoming this sort of. I remember I saw on that same cursed site. There occasionally there'll be something that I think about and like sticks in my brain. And more recently was someone saying, "Oh, I can't believe they were talking about Starfield, um, and they're talking about how there's no fandoms. Where's the fan art and fan fiction?" And I think, what a how imagine looking at art that way, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
and like. You know, I joke with my friend about it now about like, oh my god, we need help. We need 8.5 fan art. The Fellini fandom is dying, and and it's like, no, that's stupid. Uh, like so many like long preserving works of art do not require fandom. You know, in the like because the fandom is what's the word I'm talking about? Uh, how do I'm trying to find it? Fandom in its like current iteration, as people notice, capital F fandom is so consumerist and so capitalist in its like structuring and everything, and it feels like
Yeah,
often barely engages with the art in any kind of meaningful way.
for sure. I feel that.
That's how the locust works because you can just go to each new thing and plug the new collection of characters into the memes because you're only engaging with these characters on the most surface level. And it's truly whatever. This feels like old man grumbling, but
I mean,
maybe
there's
it
a
is.
kernel of truth to it. Art, I think, like, there's art that can stand on its own, but also it's, if you're a creator and then suddenly your work took off, it's a little exciting to see how people are connecting with it in ways that you didn't imagine.
Yeah,
But the current way that mainstream art is trying to capitalize on this, I mean, there's not really another word I could think
right,
of.
right.
Like, creator integrity is something that I feel like is lost when we go to the mainstream.
Yeah, it's very specific kind of model to like I don't know hit the mass audience when I think you can survive without it. I think you can like I think online is only so like so immensely important if you spend all of your time online, and then you can just log off and realize that it's not. It contains a lot of people, but it's not the entirety of the world.
Oh, for sure. I consider myself a person who's online a lot of the time. I'm not like an online person, if
Yes,
that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. I do click here and there, but I don't think about like I don't engage with it very often because it feels like just a different kind of like a different way of thinking. It's like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? The internet, online, it's a mystery. But you know what isn't a mystery? This show. Nope, that's not right. You know what? It's not a mystery. What I'm going to do next for me, if you're a returning, if you're familiar listener of the show, and that is, believe it or not, we've hit our the end of our segment here. It breezes past so quickly, and so I have two important questions for you that I need you to answer for me.
Sure
Uh,
thing.
what is your favorite type of rock?
Um, I like Jade personally. Jade's a very pretty stone,
And
unless I'm thinking of the incorrect type of rock.
no, there is no incorrect type of rock. This is an open-ended question. Uh, and most important and follow up. This one can have an incorrect answer. Um, you can also choose to abstain entirely, and that is what is your favorite Toho character?
Now, see, Toho is one of those series that I desperately wish that I could get into, but I'm just not good at bullet hells, so I can't really say. I guess Cerno is hilarious to me,
Well, what
but
about the adventure games, the visual novels, all the others, the puzzle games?
I just feel like I have to at least play one of these source material
Okay.
games before I could get into the fan games.
Well, if you
So,
play
Yeah.
If you go back to the very first one, Highly Responsive to Prayers, it's technically a like a block breaking game. It's more like a breakout game.
Really? All right. I'm gonna have to put some time to look into that
But
and
I think
try
it
it
only
out.
has Reimu in it. I don't remember. But just get sick at bullet hells. Just go full in and become a bullet hell person.
My hand-eye coordination is terrible, but I guess I could probably afford to watch a Let's Play of one of them games.
Oh, maybe.
A lot of
Yeah.
the Toho community is fan-driven, isn't it?
Toho is it's like mainline Toho, Zune, and whatever. I forget the name of the company, but is all bullet hells, but also uh, like it has a kind of like open license basically. So you can make a Toho game. I can make a Toho game. I was looking at games just before the show, and there's just like Toho games on the PS5 or whatever that are just unrelated entirely, just made by some other team. So it is kind of like fan driven. It's hobby. It's a different space over there, different approach to things.
The Dojin market is vastly different compared to communities, even like not in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am trying to brute force some of that Dojin market culture into existence slowly.
We'll get there.
Just kind of like what if you respected the hobbyist space actually? Huh. What an odd thought that would be. What if you didn't have to be on the grind? What if it wasn't strictly anyway? We're gonna get caught in the weeds or something. Bayou, thank you for joining me on the show. I hope you can stick around. We're gonna go on break now for
All
a little.
right. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. And oh, well, I mean, we can get to the end. We forgot the final credit of Queer Halloween Stories bundle, but we can get to it. You'll be back. You'll be back. We're gonna go on break. We'll be back in like 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
All right.
Goodbye for now. Hello, welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Vacation with Parties Over. We are here with our next guest, who you may know from issue 34 of Indiepocalypse with Factory Hero. It's Belbino. Belbino, how you doing today?
Hey man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. 34, that was a mere 14 months ago, give or take.
Don't say this. Don't say this to me.
14 months ago.
Time is not real.
But I'm going to
it
ask you
sucks.
to think back to 14 months ago.
Sure.
How did you hear about Indiepocalypse?
How'd I hear about Indiepocalypse? Do you know an artist named Casey Green?
Familiar with him, perhaps.
Is a real bastard, but he did make the art for the Indiepocalypse. Was it like ad? I
Yeah,
guess.
the ad page.
Yeah. So I saw that he retweeted that, and I was like, I like indie games. I like Casey Green. He made the art for my game,
You did.
and
Very
you know what?
recognizable style.
Yeah, totally, right? And I was like, I might as well just give this a shot. I have this game that has been sitting under my mattress
Yes.
that has been collecting dust somehow, and maybe I could just put it on there, see how it does. And, you know, it did all right. I feel
Yeah.
like it got a little bump. It was good.
Yeah, it did. It did as good as the important. I mean, in terms of Indie's apocalypse scope, it did as best as it could, which is get into it. It's
Yeah.
kinda- it's a real binary there.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I actually have a question
Yeah.
for you. I'm gonna turn the table on you and
I'm-
interview
I'm-
you now.
I'm ready for it. I'm prepared.
All right. How do you feel your approach to getting indies into Indiepocalypse, like the zine, has
Yeah.
changed over the years? Has it changed at all?
Like in terms of the games I accept.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even like just getting people to like jump in and stuff like that?
Well, I've definitely my kind of like my guiding philosophy is sort of maintained steady from the beginning, where it's like I always want to have like a wide variety of things. I mean, I'm definitely skewing towards like games that feel less traditional and games that feel like weirder and more off the beaten path. Though, as you know yourself, I like video games, and I like a little a recognizable video game here and there.
What? No way.
But so I definitely like skew in that direction where I've always done that. There was a time where I was inviting at least one game per issue, and I've kind of I was flush with games, and I was busy, and I was like, well, they're already giving them all to me. Why don't I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I've been trying I've been trying to get back into the practice of inviting people again, of like really digging into games and being like, hey, sending people emails like, I like your game, you should include it. All you have to do is submit it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't realize that you had like a glut of games for that first little bit.
I did for a little. I had that's how I got 1 month ahead, because one month I had at least 20 games that were good to go.
Oh.
So I was like, I'll make 2 issues at once, and then I can make. Now I'm finished a month in advance. So basically, like February's issue, is basically I'm just waiting on the commission game. It's otherwise all done.
This is a little behind the scenes for the people at home. You get to see
I love
this is how it's made.
The
sausage is made just like this.
Yes, I'll explain to everybody how my entire process, front to back. I have no qualms in doing that. There is no secret formula.
And that is why indie games and indie game zines are excellent. You get to see how all types of sausages are made.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter the type, and I want more people to have sausages. So,
hey, check out this thing that that I found out about. Like, let's see here. Does that work?
That does come through to me, so people can presumably hear it.
Oh, that's excellent. That is really good.
But
I think that one's my favorite.
Yeah. We have a late breaking question from someone on the side related. If you feel free to just chime in and ask me that question, I can answer while I'm on that wavelength, because it might be related to exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, so should I ask it to you?
No, Bayou, you can step in and say it.
Oh, yeah, come in.
On the subject of how you've chosen games has changed, how do you choose who to approach for the special Zine game per issue?
Like the commission game, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So because it's perfect, that's what I thought you were asking. So that is what I was going to say. That process has changed a little. Primarily at the beginning, I was looking for people who were had a larger platform than me, but still were not making the big bucks, so they were affordable within my range. But also, it was kind of like, hey, I'm spending more money in these commission games. Let me get some of those people to help drive people towards Indiepocalypse. Since then, it's just cool people that I like that seem like they make a decent amount of games. So it seems like the kind of person who could make a game in 3 months.
Right.
So now that is my new philosophy is changed from make sure they have see if they have a bigger following or they're more established, so that they can give a little boost my way as well. And now it is just people I like.
Yeah, I like them. They're my friends.
Just people make cool stuff. I want to pay them to make another cool thing specifically for this.
Yeah,
and that is.
I mean, that's like a great way of going about it, and honestly, in the whole, I would say, vibe of like a zine, right? Like it really just is sort of like a community, sort of friends of friends sort of thing, right?
Right. And I am a friend with no one, so therefore I am friends with everyone.
Don't say that. We're friends now. This
of
show
course.
has made us compatriots.
I am a very where I like require very little for what's the word? Friendship.
the barrier of entry is low, as we say in the industry.
Yes, I I remember when I was playing The Sims, the very first Sims.
Yeah.
And there was something would happen and it'd be like, friends are like plants. If you don't contact them enough, they'll wither, and friendships are like plants. If you don't contact them enough, they'll wither and die. And I'm like, no, that's fine. If you contact me once every 5 years, we're probably on the same wavelength that we were 5 years ago. I don't.
The
really...
Andrew friendship experience is a frictionless sort of experience. Yeah.
There is also like the layer of a true friend, which is like, in my brain, what is a friend is someone who, if I could if I could go over to your house and I would just lay on your couch and watch movies, and that would be a fun time. That is as a friend.
Yeah.
How comfortable would I be just laying around their couch for a few hours, not really doing anything particular?
Yeah. No, I get that. I like being able to, like, because I don't know about you, I'm on my phone a lot, but if I can just hang out and play, like, Monster Hunter now and just like not have to chime in every once in a while and be like, hey, so tell me about your life. That's a good friendship to me.
I'm extremely low maintenance.
I like it.
Which I say also so when people go, oh, Andrew never says anything. It's like that's come on the damn radio show. I also don't like talking over text especially much.
Yeah. So should we talk about video games?
Oh, right. Yeah, video games. Factory Hero. What is that thing?
Oh yeah. I made that one.
What's it about? What are you doing it?
It's a game where you play as Hiro Kikuchi, who is the protagonist, and he gets hired at a factory to make a bunch of. It's mostly food. I think it's all food. It's been like several years since I last looked at that game, but
it's been 14 months since I have.
Yeah. Did you play the game? Because do you play? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Do you play all the games that come in?
Yeah, I play all the games.
Really? Oh wow, that's so many. Can I swear on this?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good. There's so many fucking games.
Oh no, that was you went too far.
Oh shit! So many freaking games.
We only allow fake fantasy and sci-fi swears on the show.
Oh no!
No, that's fine.
I'm canceled. I'm podcast canceled now.
Now you have to go on like fucking Joe Rogan.
No, don't say that.
You have to tell me about herbal supplements or whatever. And he goes,
that's a fate worse than death right there.
Oh yeah. Oh. Now see, I've never actually seen Joe Rogan. Never actually watched or listened to any of it.
I was ready for you to like do like a spot on impression right there, and I was just gonna let it go.
No.
Now you broke the illusion.
My understanding of Joe Rogan is the small bits of that Tim Heidecker parody that I watched.
Oh yeah. Man, that's like reminding me that Tim and Eric are so freaking good. I wish they would come back. It's good content. I want a video game of that. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you about On Cinema at the cinema.
Oh, we can't do this now. We cannot do this.
It just came back.
Yeah, totally.
And Tim is redder than he's ever been.
Oh my god, I love it. I haven't been keeping up with it just because it's like there's so much, you know. But it's like, it's such. I hate to use the word, but it's such good content. That is some good content right there.
It was a thing I got into in like 2022. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch? Great Job?
I did.
Oh man,
there was there was a time when I was like, oh, this is stupid stuff, because the stupidest people I knew liked it. But then I was like, oh, this is actually very smart.
Yeah. I don't know, like it. I think that it toes the line. I think that there's a lot of things that they're very aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I also feel like sometimes they're just dumbasses. But that's good, you know?
It's like I can't remember their exact description of it, but a long time multimedia artist. I don't know what his practice, his main practice is right now, but Chris Straub.
Yes.
Most famously does horror work.
Yeah.
And he said something once about, like, he posted a video and it stuck with me, and I don't remember the exact phrase, but something to the effect of they do they so extremely deliberately do amateurish work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, for sure. And like Chris is a another artist that someday I hope to emulate even a fraction of his like style in my work. You know, like those two are definitely inspirations for games that I would like to make in the future because they're just so unique. I guess is the only word that comes to mind, but like it's much more than that. You know, like
Yeah.
they're very influential to the kind of games that I want to make, stories I want to tell.
And I mean, I am Indiepocalypse itself is very much born of that lo-fi, I don't know, public access,
Yeah,
independent
yeah,
comics culture.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
I was thinking just the other day about how because people were talking about the idea that there's too many video games,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like games. If you compare games to comics, imagine if comics only had like Marvel and DC and maybe like Image, and there were no indie comic shows and no zine fest, and that's kind of what games have.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Like what is the SPX equivalent for games? And they're like is zero. There are no like
Yeah.
there's no like indie game markets that you go to. Bring it back to Comiket and Dojin. You know, there's none of that for indie games really.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a vacuum. So there's an opportunity there
Yes,
to make something big. Not by me.
no,
I'm just the ideas guy.
and barely by me.
Yeah.
Go to indiepodcast.com/tape club to start that. No, I definitely am pushing people towards what if you went to Zine Fest with games and
Yeah.
like art markets with games because they're way cheaper, folks. They're also super cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know what things there are like in your neck of the woods, but around here there is like there's like a few that I can go to and they cost $40.
Oh well. You know that Canadian dollar here is not that good, so
So like
it's probably going to be a
$60
lot more.
Canadian.
Yeah. 200. No.
Yeah, no. I've been to Canada sometimes and thrown around my American dollars like a king.
Yeah. You're like, oh hell yeah, I can buy a coffee crisp for like a dime, like an American dime out here.
I've expressed this on the show and to Canadians before, but I got like some kind of snack bar at the checkout and it was under $1.
Oh,
I have
what a dream! It sounds nice. I wish I could live that life.
it was like cost me less than $1 American, and I was like, oh my god, I have not paid less than $2 for. I think they're like all over $2 here.
Oh man, bro, I like just came back from Japan and like the food cost there is like ridiculous. It's like so low. You can get like a bowl of like noodles for under $10.
Yeah.
Now you get something from like DoorDash here. It's like $20 right off the bat, right? Without even tipping the dash or whatever. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, I've traveled all like when I go. I love going to Canada because I know it's going to be so much cheaper.
Mm.
It tricks me because it's in dollars. You can
Yeah.
use the same ones, but I'm always like, nowhere near as expensive for me. I can get all the poutine I want.
We really need to come up with a different name for the Canadian
Yeah.
currency so that we don't cause so much confusion with people. Maybe we can just we can go with like beavers. That'll be 10 beavers, 5 loonies. Thank you.
Yes, the true curse. We're talking about the true curse of a gig economy in the private chat, and also say definitely. One of the things I go to is a flea market, a punk flea market. Is one of the things I've attended in the past, and yes, tapes. Those tapes are. I go to an art market fairly regularly in like a kind of like an open air farmers market shopping area, and people they go nuts for these tapes. They're like, "What are those things?" I'm like, "They're video games." They're like, "What? This is so cool."
It's a great idea, and I love the spinning GIF that you got going on here.
Thank you.
Love of it being showcased.
Let me tell you a little secret here. That is, I made that, and that is an actual tape that I spun with my hand.
That's incredible.
if you eagle-eyed viewers will notice in the top corner, you can see my fingers.
Ah, yeah.
That is,
There's a little something there.
Yeah, I spun that with my fingers and recorded it on my cell phone, and then removed the background.
You're ever resourceful, if
Yeah.
if I do say so myself.
It is. FMV is a true pleasure. I wish I could one day make FMV games.
Okay. This is a great segue because I have a second interviewer question for you. Hold on, let me
Yes.
get the
Did I just watch
soundboard
a
out.
video about Darkseid? I did.
Yeah, you like that, huh? Hold on, let me get you this question.
Is Phantasmagoria or Puzzle Flesh one of my favorite games that I will never play? Yes.
That is not the question. The question is, if you were to make a game, what game would you? First of all, have you made a game? Have you made a video game?
Indiepocalypse, the secret origin story is it's made out of me making games and then going, I don't want to make a kind of game that I want to get paid for the game, but there's no way to sell the kind of games I want to make. What if I brute forced the market for that into existence? And here I am.
And you became the seller. Genius.
And I was like, well, if people won't respect paying $5 for a 30-minute game, I will sell them 10 of them until they do finally respect it.
No, that's a great way of doing it. You became the man,
Yes.
but like a cooler version of the man.
Yeah, I saw no market, so I created it.
That's awesome.
But I'm also
manifest the
I am
market.
actively making a game right now.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
I can talk about it very quick. We're wrapping up the segment, but I'll mention it very quickly. It's part of that Iron Circus collab that's coming out this year in June-ish. It's a fake. It's a fake, like retrospective collection of a company that never existed.
Okay.
So
I'm liking what I'm
John
hearing.
Charles Holmes, and we're doing making an LCD game and like an Atari game and like probably an FMV game, and we're making like a fake chronology of like a cult studio that isn't real.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I feel like that could that sounds like something that could have legs for like more in the future. You know what I mean?
It
Like you
is.
can always build on top of it.
Yeah, that was also part of the reason I pitched that idea to him, was because it's like we make the base and then we can add as many or as few games as we can, time allowing. You know.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, it's such like a rich vein. I feel like who hasn't heard about the game company that's sort of like fizzled out of existence, but has this like long legacy of like varying properties, right? Like,
Yeah.
someone will ask in a Discord, like, who even owns, I don't know, like
Right.
Burning Rangers anymore? Like, oh, let's do a deep dive on that sort of thing, and then find out all this other shit about it.
But speaking of deep dives, I've got
Yes.
Albino, I've got a couple deep dive questions for you. What's your favorite type of rock?
My favorite type of rock is the citrine.
And follow up, do you have a favorite Toho character?
I don't know their name. What's the name of that character that serves street food? They do like the cooking or whatever, and they have like the little antlers.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the little bird person who runs the izakaya, because there's that game.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
No, they're a
let me
bird
look.
though,
Yeah, they're a bird. Maybe I was thinking of that.
because there's the,
It's the one that runs the izakaya, and you can steal from them in the Lost Branch with no penalty.
Lost Branch shop. Let me see. I don't.
Lost Branch shop izakaya.
Is it Takane?
Yes. Why was I thinking deer? Yeah, Takane.
Okay, nailed it. Oh, okay. No, she's like the weird military person. Yes, she was also.
Anyways, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I believe she's also in the that ladybug. Site. The other game.
She's inside that ladybug.
That ladybug game, the one that's kind of like a Metroidvania sort of. Their games are like they're like quote unquote Metroidvanias, but they're more like level based games, you know.
Did you play that rhythm one with the dancing?
No. I
You know which one I'm talking about, though, right?
no. What?
I'm gonna now see. Now I have to look it up.
Okay,
Can't believe
well,
you've
you
done
look it up. We're gonna go on break.
Yeah, let's do it.
But thank you for joining me here. We got another guest coming up. I'm looking for my. There's Fubar. Found you, you little sneaky little guy. We'll be back in about 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Goodbye for now.
Oh, we're doing it.
Hello, welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Super Chunk with, what was that? New Bruises. New NU Bruises, like the metal. We're here with our next and final guest of the show from Indiepocalypse issue number 46. It's, not 14 months ago, still relatively fresh and new. Daniel Savage with Boils, Otters, Valor, and Death. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. My favorite kind of rock is quartz because it helps us make clocks. And my favorite Toho character is Marisa because you have that risk and reward of having to dart quickly, and she's very devil may care, which seems very fun.
She likes to steal stuff.
Yeah, and like there's this cacophony of bullets going on, right? So like if she's like, that was nothing, you're so foolish, it's like, yeah, go Marisa. I'm here for it.
A very popular choice.
Yeah, I'm basic that way.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes popular choices are popular for a reason, you know?
I hope you don't mind me just getting it all out of the gate. I was nervous.
That is like glad to have someone prepared, ready to go. Sometimes people will be the third guest and they'll be like, "Oh, I had so much time to prepare, but I never answered it."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how.
Yeah, Sega definitely owns Burning Rangers.
Yeah, just for anyone keeping score at home.
Yes, it is definitely them. And so far as I can tell, Burning Rangers did never appear in an RGG game, also known as secret emulators for Sega games.
M2, get on it.
Yeah, they got to. Like, best way to buy a copy of VF4 is Yakuza.
It's true. I think the Sonic the Fighters community is pretty stoked about that game being emulated, which I did not know there was a Sonic the Fighters competitive community.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
If I have sitting inside of my PlayStation right now is a copy of Lost Judgment where I could boot up Sonic the Fighters right now and play it against someone.
What character would you pick if you played Sonic the Fighters?
I would be Fang.
Because that has a gun.
Fang has a gun. That's why.
Mm.
Fang was my main when I got all my points inside of Judgment, the original Judgment.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
Sometimes I'll play the games and man, VF rules is my takeaway from playing them for my completion points. Is man, VF kicks ass. But
what do you like about VF?
I think it's just like it's snappy and like it just moves well. I don't know. I just think it's cool. Like
it's got that Sega energy.
Yeah, but I'm also like a Sega who like loves thinks the Yakuza games are actually a lot of fun to play. Like the combat, I'm like sign me up for that. I don't know if that is popular if people like the beat 'em up, but it's like I love the beat 'em up of it.
I feel like Yakuza has like a big following of people who have JRPG brain because it follows like a JRPG flow, right? It does. But
and now they are just Japanese role playing, or in the more traditional sense, they are now JRPGs.
Yeah. And I don't mean that in a dismissive way, but I can totally understand if someone's like, this is like a pristine beat 'em up sort of thing.
No, Daniel, we're here to break down JRPGs. This is what the show is here for. What are JRPGs? What are not JRPGs?
JRPGs are sick. They're like a magical novel with a bit of resource management and a character you just love.
Is Final Fantasy VI a JRPG?
Yeah. I give it the pass as arbiter of that genre.
Are Etrian Odyssey JRPGs?
I mean, I feel like if you publish by Atlas, you get it free.
Is
Yeah.
is Fantasy Star a sandwich? The important question.
I'm going to change the subject by pivoting. I really want to make a bootleg Fantasy Star. Like, clearly, like, not Fantasy Star, but, like, just, like, the same, like,
Yeah.
kind of premise of, like, 4 wacky misfits jumping around planets with an evil empire.
I fairly recently, relatively recently, within, like, you know... I saw Temptation in the chat. I saw I played relatively recently in the past few years. I played through, I believe, the first 3 Fantasy Star games, and they're cool as hell.
You feel like you should go play 4 if you played
That's
the
what
first.
I realized. I realized I stopped before I played. I stopped before I played 4. I stopped playing all. I was playing all the FromSoft games. I stopped at Last Raven. I stopped at all the best ones, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can save that for when you're in the retirement home and you don't have as much to do. The nurses are putting you on stabilizing drugs. You just got to keep busy. Like, I'm saving Persona 4 for that.
Right. Well,
you know,
Infinite Wealth is coming out this month, so I was like, I gotta polish off all those RGG games I haven't beaten, you know.
True.
Because I you know. I play a lot of that's the thing. Like, I think searching for a proper I talked about canon up front in this show in the bio thing, but as part of it is like I think it's like an important, like a varied diet, you know. Like, I like
you gotta have. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You go.
I know. I heard one person in a crass fashion say that they were only going to eat pizza and multivitamin gummies. And I wondered what the video game consumption equivalent of that would be. Like, only playing Sony first-party games and then, like,
one
Mario Party? Yeah, right, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
It is that similar. Yeah, it's like, no, I play a bunch of weirdo indie shit for Indiepocalypse, and then I'm like, I like to mainline some of this kind of the stuff that I like. I want melodramatic men tearing their shirts off to expose sick back tattoos. And they just beat the shit out of each other.
And then play Sonic the Fighters.
Absolutely. That is. Do you have any? How do you feel about the Tales games?
So I feel like everybody has their first JRPG, and then that becomes something you're very like attached to because it introduced JRPG tropes to you.
Yes.
And thank you, Andrew, for letting me talk about this. But I was just a Nintendo baby on the Nintendo GameCube as an 11-year-old.
Oh, geez, an 11-year-old. I was also 12 years old when the GameCube came out, of course.
Yes, you can crucify me now for saying that. But Tales of Symphonia, with its 2-disc magic, which was mind-blowing to me, filled that JRPG slot.
Well, they're bringing it back. They're bringing the return of 2 discs this year. They're coming back with them.
Yeah, I mean, Blu-rays can only be so big. I could have played
too big for us.
I could have played Final Fantasy like a normal person, but no, I just had to have that sicko brain going. And I know Tales was fun, you know.
No, I mentioned it because before the show started, I was looking to buy import copy. I was looking on eBay at copies of Tales of Fantasia.
Oh yeah, I have the. When I lived with my partner in Kobe, Japan, I found the PS1 copy of Tales of Fantasia at a mom and pop game shop that smelled like cigarette smoke, and I bought it. And it's my little treasure. Don't know enough Japanese to play it.
Actually,
go ahead. Sorry.
I joked, but I didn't. I didn't. That wasn't Tales of Fantasia. I was 12 when the GameCube came out. So I'm not that old.
Do you want to play Tales of Fantasia from start to finish?
I did.
Sort of thing. Okay, you did.
I did, but I like to have physical. Unsurprisingly, I like to have physical things. I like the aesthetic of it.
I keep a PlayStation 2 remake copy of Phantasy Star 1 as a memento on my desk for inspiration. I've not played it because it is in Japanese, like Tales of Fantasia. But I like that they had the audacity to remake such a wonky game. So
Yeah,
I keep that close.
I think it's. I get very obsessed with old games occasionally, or just like I get very obsessed with series of games.
I noticed in the Indiepocalypse Discord, there's like this archive chat about Armored Core.
Right. That because no one participated, and I did not have the interest to motivate people to do so.
Was this before they announced a big fancy remake of it and like brought
Yes.
the series back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Before that was well
You're-
before.
You're ahead of your time, Andrew. You're like the real deal.
Well, I was playing fucking Armored Core when it came out. It was cool. You could make giant robots.
Oh, and it had like a fake online sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
Like you pretend emailed like in like dot hack.
Yes.
Right?
I thought about dot hack sometimes. I think about dot hack sometimes too. But that is like I get fascinated by that era. I brought up Tales because also I do love the thing I was doing before I dipped into FromSoft was play Tales games. I'm currently partway through that one that did not come out in the US, I don't think, or maybe it did, but like the director's cut did not. I forget the name of it. Tales of Destiny. Is that what Tales of Destiny?
I wouldn't know. And I just zoned out and then looked at the sassy chat messages Balbino was sending me. So I didn't process that line, but I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust your judgment,
I
Andrew.
believe it's Tales of Destiny.
Yeah.
It is.
Um,
But Tales games are cool. But speaking of games that are cool, tell me we've got all this long way without telling me about your game. What is? Tell us. I have to look it up so I have to memorize the exact order of things. The exact.
you want me to talk about my game?
Valor and Death.
I know, right? I regret the name, but I probably
good
will thank
name.
myself
Just
later for
sometimes-
sticking with it.
Well, I guess it's a good name, but it's not. Snap. It doesn't have that snappy social media, whatever. You know. No, but it's a good
So
name.
I've got the crumpled up magazine page
Yes.
that I used for the PDF that you received with Indiepocalypse 46.
I have a non-crumpled up one on further on the other side of this room that I received from you with a very
Yeah,
nice
because I mailed it to you.
Yes.
Because I like to get rid of my old photocopies that way.
Yes.
But I'll give a premise of it based off this magazine page right now. There are two things known to be certain in this world. Those who have the power of the boils, and monsters like Rot the Otter King. Our story follows four people whose boils grant them incredible powers. Their mission? Infiltrate the Marble Manor, fight past the Lutrinian army, and slay the Otter King. All those who have boils are charged with this noble duty, and the punishment for desertion is death. That's the premise of the game.
And what a premise it is. And it is like how do I say this? It feels like a game I would come across when I play if I was like digging through a company's back catalog. It's like a Nick Your Rose game. I mean that complimentary.
Thank you.
Like-
It was Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it has like that weird density that is like you go. And also I say this is another compliment. It has the weird density that dooms something to obscurity.
Good. Belbino made a tweet in a previous year talking about how you can, like, sometimes you'll make a game, but you'll be proud of it and your work.
Yeah.
But sometimes you might be like, well, I'm done with this game. I've made it. I'm tired out, sort of thing. And I think this is the first game I've played where I've sat down and I've replayed it because I replayed it for this talk.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I am scratching my own itch. I really
Yes.
like this sicko gameplay. I want to play more of this game I made. And that was very affirming for me. I never thought I would get there. So I was really happy that Indiepocalypse let me make it over like 3 or 4 months. It was a lot of fun, sort of thing.
Yeah, that is like I touched on it, in the commission slot, and really the or the previous segment, but the commission slot is really just like for someone to just go out and make their most sicko stuff, you know, make their most self-indulgent work.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna drop some inspiration to your lore that
Okay.
I probably shouldn't. When I was born, my mother noticed, shoot, this child has a lot of eczema like I have. I hope it's not antibiotics or whatever modern affliction is doing this. And it got real bad in 2022. So it was kind of fun to translate that into boils and other anxieties I had about the world and put that into a very like strange like work sort of thing. Maybe a little TMI for your healthy Saturday afternoon podcast. but
Oh, this is.
I thought it
I
would
mean, that's
share
only
it.
if you're listening on a Saturday afternoon. You could listen to it any other day of the week as well.
It clocked over into Saturday morning here on the Pacific Coast, but I'm assuming most people are listening in the afternoon because the Pacific is behind everyone else.
Yeah, and I'm on the East Coast, of course,
Hmm.
very far away. But
The East Coast seems more quaint and scenic to me. I don't know, but I've never been there, so I don't know.
it's fine, I suppose. It's a region.
Trademark, fine.
All regions identical.
Is it exactly like Moonrise Kingdom?
Maybe if you're rich and live on Nantucket or something.
Okay. Well, I had to ask. I just needed to know that deep down, if that vile truth was true.
Where is that little guy? Where is that fellow from? He does have a very like Connecticut vibe to him. Oh, he's born. Oh, wait, of course he's from Texas. Fucking Bottle Rockets in Texas. Right.
Wait, Wes Anderson's from Texas?
Yeah.
You're telling me that he spent his entire life trying too hard? Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.
Right, because
He's not trying too hard.
like all the
I'm being mean.
because like all the Wilsons were in Texas. I think aren't those where those guys are from?
Oh. Is he from Austin?
Houston.
Houston. Wow.
No.
Wow.
Austin's premier auteur filmmaker is that other guy. What's his face? Makes movies where people talk a lot, and they're all very deliberate. Why am I forgetting his name? Made the movie where everyone walks around all the time. Slacker.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
The Before trilogy. I'm upset that I'm blanking on his name.
Mm.
Anyway, that
I'll admit I don't know a lot about movies, and I was reading the Legends of 16-bit game development about Treasure, that book about Treasure's history,
yeah.
and there's a bit with like an interview with Maegawa, like the founder, and he's like, "Oh, I don't read a lot of books and I don't watch a lot of movies. I just play a lot of video games, and that doesn't make me well-rounded. And I often have to like read about the work if we're doing a licensed game." And I was like, "Oh, if he can make it, maybe I can too."
Yeah.
Just being ignorant. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I feel like I'm
Go ahead.
Andrew. I feel like I'm dominating this. I'm sorry.
I'm here every single week. Daniel, you're here this week and maybe other weeks too. But
Oh my gosh, it's true.
people,
I don't know what I'd do if I came back.
Yeah, people don't need to come here and have me ramble about whatever, you know, and just like, oh, look, Andrew's talking about movies or something or books. Let me tell you about the dying Earth or whatever.
If you could make, sorry, I have a question now for you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
If you could make a licensed game about a movie, what game would you make? You have to license a movie, like, you know.
Yes. Okay, a movie. No. See, here's my brain is of two minds, you know. And that is, do I try to faithfully adapt the film,
Right.
like adapt the ideas of a film into a game, or do I go in inverse direction and I do like a 16-bit era sort of quasi related to the film, but it's like an action platformer kind of thing.
Make your choice.
Only that's the trouble that I'm trying to run into, that I'm trying to figure out. Because my instinct, because it was fresh in my brain, is like, how would I adapt Moonrise Kingdom into a game? How would I adapt Wes Anderson into a game? And like, the answer feels too straightforward, that they're adventure games, you know, but it's too That's too obvious. It feels like too like adapting the work without adding to the work, without interpreting the work.
Hmm.
So I'd have to try to figure out something else. And I don't know. I'll have to think about this further. Daniel, if you had to adapt, and I'll give you even a broader answer. If you had to adapt anything, any work into a game, if you got your hands on any license, which one would you want?
It sounds basic, but it's January 6th, 2024, and I just really want to, like, Mickey Mouse has been trapped in hell for, like, 96 years?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I want Mickey and his captain of his ship to escape hell. Like, this is their chance. This is their moment to be free and move towards the future. Like, I want to make a Steamboat Willie art project, right? Like,
well, good news for you.
Mickey should kiss Pete. That's true. Thank you, Bill Bino.
I think within very specific parameters, you can do that, and people will go crazy for it.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Sorry, do you mind if I keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mickey's like, he was a real shit in Steamboat Willie, and Pete was really mean in Steamboat Willie. Like, they're mean to animals and mean to each other. And what if they were just, like, cringing at their past selves and full of regret and learning to move on? Like, that feels like, I don't know, I want to make that.
Make it fast enough, you get that big press. I realized what I wanted to do, and I figured it out. And the answer is Stalker. I would want to make Stalker.
How would you want to spin on Stalker?
I don't know yet, but I would spend 13 years trying to unpack Stalker in my brain, and unpack what making a frequent listeners of the show will know that after I watch Stalker, I pace around my room for a long time, and then I always think about Stalker. It's like, it's been so long since like a piece of art like penetrated so deep into me, But I don't know what a Stalker game, because I feel like Stalker with guns is the obvious solution, right? That's what people do, and it's like, no, that's not the answer. Like, that's not the essence of what Stalker is. Going into a weird place and shooting things. But anyway, I don't know what that game would be, but that's what it would be. That would be a mad opus that I would try to unpack.
I'm gonna say it. Would you rather make a rope game than a stick game when it comes to Stalker, or like?
I don't know what you is that. Are these game design terminologies? I don't know what they.
No, it's even worse. So in a science fiction, big budget, self-indulgent, problematic video game called Death Stranding,
yes.
You deliver packages, and having a stick or a gun fighting people is kind of thematically like very like deconstructed and discouraged sort of thing like that. And in the end, you have to be a rope and connect people, sort of thing. And I'm not saying Stalker would be like that, but there's kind of this dichotomy between rope and stick in it, to the point even where like one of the final bosses, like even is like, this is it, gun versus package, rope versus stick, and then the camera zooms in on his face, and he's like, just a good old fashioned fucking boss fight.
And say what you will about Hideo Kojima. And Metal Gear, but fuck, dude's just out there trying stuff.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect that much money went towards that end. But maybe you need to make a rope game rather than a stick game for Stalker.
I don't know, but all I know is that is what I would. It just so long as I would need to exercise it from my brain. Although I don't think that would even work. I think that would just burrow it further within.
You'd keep pacing and thinking about Stalker.
Yeah. There's like, is there even anything in it? Like, what is... It's... That part where they just lie down for like 20 minutes and there's a dog. Anyway. Go out there, everyone. Just carve out 3 hours and watch Stalker.
I feel like I want to do Solaris because a very kind intern at my last job really liked Solaris. And he grew up in Russia. And he was like, it's just... I was inspired by that. I want to make something like Solaris. And I was like, damn... You rule, kid.
I just watched Solaris recently, and also Solaris does also. Let's all just folks go out there and watch very slow-paced Russian sci-fi. Really really indulge yourself in Tarkovsky for a little while.
Yeah, who knows? You might end up in 13 Sentinels.
Yes. Yeah, you like that's. I mean, that's the benefit of I think having like a varied artistic diet is you don't know like how it will influence your other work, you know, and like how like if you only play video games, that's just how you end up with more video games, you know.
Definitely.
And that is like how video games can feel samey is like, oh, my influences is, and it's not even like watching stuff. Sometimes your influence can be walking outside. But speaking of influences, I'm influencing you all subconsciously and subtly with the show by playing music, and because we're going to be playing music. Daniel, thank you for joining me. Our segment, I believe, has come to an end. I'm looking at my timer. I forgot to time it, but if I divide this thing by 3, we've definitely gone over.
Thanks for listening, Bill. Everyone, it's been a lot of fun.
But we're going to be back with a group segment after 2 minutes and 41 seconds, approximately. Goodbye for now. Hello, welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Whisper Town with There Are No Words. We're back with the whole crew is here. Everyone is here and free to just run their mouth, not within the confines of our group chat, but within the confines of the show as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Don't say fuck. It's
say
not allowed.
Fuck in the Twitch. No. This is a. I said this before. Indiepocalypse is a zine for adults. Even if it does not contain quote-unquote adult content all the time.
Rated M for mature.
It is, but like emotionally mature.
What? Why'd you make me make a game? That's ridiculous.
Okay.
I thought if you told me I had to be emotionally mature, I'd be like, oh, I can't do that.
Not allowed here.
No.
No, it's the... Because I've had people definitely ask before, like, oh, what's a good game? What's a good issue for kids? And I'm like...
None of them.
Yeah, like, all of them, but none of them. But because like they don't, it doesn't technically contain like objectionable material in a lot of cases, but like contains complicated ideas a lot of the time.
Okay, so your producer or whatever comes up to you and is like, "Look, we need to hit that like kid market."
That's me. I'm our producer.
Okay, so you walk up to the mirror,
Yeah,
and you go, I gotta hit that kid market. What are you naming? What are you renaming Indiepocalypse so that people know it's for kids, and B, what kind of games are going on there?
Roblox
This is
2.
like the for kids treatment.
Yes. Replacing all the complicated ideas with less complicated ideas. The equivalent, whatever the equivalent of taking out guns is.
See, like, I don't think that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that you're allowed to have like complicated stuff like given to kids, but
Yeah.
like I do feel like, probably get rid of the guns.
I think the answer is probably that it actually is great for kids, but they're like kids are more precocious than you think they are.
Yeah, it's true. It's
But
true.
when people say what's good for kids, I think they are thinking what is stuff for babies.
Yeah.
But
Can we get any of those like what is they called sensory videos, but for
ASMR?
video games?
yeah. But then also, I'm sure if it would take me very few clicks on YouTube.com to find someone in their 30s analyzing B movie. So, who am I to judge the 12-year-old who wants to play an emotionally dense Bitsy game? You know?
Like in that time, I was playing. There was like this. What was it called? Yume Nikki, I
Yeah.
think. And that is like not a great game for kids, but like it definitely was something I was playing when I was around that age.
But also, they're great games for kids.
It is, but it's also a great game for kids because you get to be a kitty cat or a big hand.
And kids, if nothing else, are obsessed with trying to understand the universe. You know, when are you?
Yeah.
When are you more pretentious than when you're like 13? You know?
It's the perfect time to play a Tales game.
Yeah. Oh,
Stop! You gotta
Ideal
stop.
time to play a Tales game.
Oh my god. I feel like if you play a Tales game when you're at that impressionable age, you get Daniel, which is like
Cha-ching.
important, but Look, we got one already.
Hey, I also played Tales games at 13, so
Oh my god, that's true.
I
That's
also
quorum.
I also played Tales of Symphonia around when it came out.
Okay.
You-
What were the other RPGs that you would have played around that era that are not Tales?
Oh,
Because
I had both Final Fantasies on the Super Nintendo. You know,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
playing all those video games.
all of them.
I
Were you
I had
were you a
Final
Suikoden
Fantasy
head?
7. I hear you may have heard of it before.
It's a little known game by an indie company called Squeenix.
Square Soft.
Square Soft. They didn't even have the Enix yet.
No, they did not. I was dipping into Enix games occasionally too. I think I played a little bit of Star Ocean,
Dragon's Warrior.
Whoa.
Dragon Quest 7.
Oh right, Dragon Warrior is what they were called in North America, and then they realized, wait, that's stupid. Let's
Right.
just go back to Dragon Quest.
And that I believe that was with 7.
Yeah.
No,
Was
was
that
8.
the-
8 is the first one I played.
Was that okay? Which is the one with Talon? Is that 7?
No, 8 is eight's the PS2 one.
8's the PS2 one. Yes.
7. Okay, I'm gonna get my Dragon Quest soapbox first. Dragon Quest is
Okay.
kind of cool. I played I think all of them except for 11. I went through a real a running theme. I get hung up on series, and I just like play through all of them.
Mm.
And I played through like all of the Dragon Quest games up till like 11, I think. Maybe I didn't play. No, 10's like an MMO, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
10 is
yeah,
10
yeah.
is very online.
Yeah.
And 9 is the DS one, right? Where you're an angel.
Oh, that one is really good. I like how you can play multiplayer in that one.
Yes. Okay. So I have played all of them except for 11.
Wow.
Which one's your favorite?
No, you know what? I didn't finish 8. I skipped over 8, I believe.
Hmm.
But 8 was the one I was going to talk. No, 7 rather. 7 was the one I was going to talk about. So in 7, at the beginning of 7, spoilers. You can't talk about media without spoiling it. But also,
Yes.
can you really spoil things to some extent?
Run if you were planning on playing it, and don't look back.
Yes. No. Play it even more. At the beginning of 8, there's a thing where there's like a monster, someone who's like a corrupted monster sort of thing, and my instinct is like, well, I don't want to fight them, and you can choose to not fight them. You can run away from the battle, and that and then there's like a NPC there. It's like, I'm gonna try and kill them instead. So they're like running against them, and you can like stand between them, and the creature eventually like kills himself or like passes on their own. But like the options that exist within like a Dragon Quest game, I was like, these are smart, clever options that you would think of it be like in your Progresso art game or whatever. But they're like,
That's moral choice in gaming, baby.
but it wasn't, and like it wasn't obvious. It was like through like the mechanisms of Dragon Quest,
Yeah.
It's smart.
I played this one. I'm looking at it now. It's the green hat
Yes.
little dude, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the games that the only one that I really remember is the one that I mentioned earlier, which is the one with Talon and the different chapters.
Yes, that the one with the where you get to be the shopkeeper for one chapter.
Yeah, which is also really cool. I
Yes,
really
yeah.
enjoyed that. But like I felt like as the series progressed, I got less and less interested in the writing for Dragon Quest. It just felt so like boring. Even though like, it was very like it felt like coming home, seeing like a slime, and seeing a Draki or whatever. Being like, oh yeah, these are like people from my hometown. Yeah. I can't wait to hang out with you for another, 20 levels or whatever, right? But like the writing has always been just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, there's certain sometimes you don't go for the stellar. It feels like genre fiction, I guess.
Genre fiction, yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
Like very serviceable genre fiction. Where it's like, yeah, it's swords and sorcery. I know what I'm getting into. There's nothing too exciting about it. It's like not bad. but it's not
You're
exciting.
just not gonna get anything revolutionary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I like that. Sometimes I'll sit and watch something that's not like. I watched a bunch of real trash last night. A lot of real hard. A friend and I like to watch trashy movies,
Who doesn't?
and they're like not high art or anything, but like they're cool sometimes. They got ideas going on, and they got like a Lair of the White Worm is not high art, but it's cool as hell. Yeah, and very trashy. But anyway, art, video games.
We're getting right into it now on the Indiepocalypse number 133. Finally,
Our video
the
games
question-
art. Who knows?
are they art?
Oh, we need
can
to unpack
finally.
it. They are.
Oh, well, end of show.
They are.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Because art is not a qualitative measurement. It's, tons of them are bad. Tons of them are
Yeah.
bad. And
I feel like that argument, that's like the quintessential video game forum discussion in like the aughts. You know what I mean? Like, are
Right.
video games art? And now it's just like, what are you, stupid?
right.
Like, what are you talking about?
But it's at the same time. The question is like, do video games explore the human condition? Do they explore things in the same way that other art tends to? And you go, often not as much, probably not.
No, they're very commercial, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I tell this. I say this constantly. I mentioned even on the show. Someone should, if you're listening, go out there, go into the internet, type GQ Top 100 Games, and then go to Sight and Sound Poll 2024, and just look at those two lists side by side, and you're like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, 2023, or is it 2022? Whatever the most recent Sight and Sound poll was, and like perfect encapsulation of like how the mediums are so drastically different from one another.
Yeah. There's only one way to truly remedy this blight on the video game industry, and that is to defeat Jeff Keighley in combat and take him out from his crystal castle and finally bring games back to gamers who deserve
Return the games to the gamers.
it.
Are we
Bring
sure
the power
we'll give it
to
back
them.
to the gamers, though? Have they earned it?
yeah.
That's true. Yeah. You got to be real good this year, gamers, if you want games back.
What if instead we skipped gamers entirely?
Oh, now we're talking.
We brought games to somebody else.
We can't give them to gamers. We can't give it to commercial entities. Who's left? That's
Yeah.
everyone.
It's
It's just Sonic the Fighters fans out here. It's like,
Oh,
goodness
yeah.
gracious.
the only
Goodness
people,
gracious.
The only people who deserve video games. No, but it's true. I'm constantly telling people how much I think In the Mood for Love is very much like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Really? Actually? Is it?
No,
How?
not in the slightest.
Okay. I was like, I thought you were serious, and I was like, wow, I want to hear this.
No, I could not find like I just picked the two number 5s at random, and I was like,
Oh.
no, but Mass
I
Effect
think-
2, perfect. The two number 6 is actually an ideal comparison point. Mass Effect
Okay.
2 and 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh no.
Truly comparable explorations of humanity's place in space.
Okay, we've been on a little bit of a JRPG talk.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Mass Effect, sometimes I see like studios started by like the people who made Mass Effect, or they make like Mass Effect Andromeda, and they're always like, how about that space exploration? And I'm like, did you play Mass Effect? It's all about the dorky sci-fi family. Like why do they never pivot on the dorky sci-fi family sort of thing? Like, I don't know. Do people like? Am I off base with Mass Effect? Like, I don't know. I want my dorky sci-fi family, but they never seem to give it to me the way I want.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I watched a playthrough of. Sorry, Brian, do you have some of this? Feel free to cut me off if I'm talking, ever. But it feels like it would benefit from just being episodic in ways. You know, I like the idea. There was like an adventure game based on the Star Trek original series that was just like you're playing an episode.
Oh.
And it's like that's a cool approach of like, and you can like do bad at it. Like, what if Kirk went into this episode of Star Trek and just fucked up real bad? And just like, I love that idea of just like, oh man, I screwed up big time. That guy tricked me. I all these people died. I didn't smart my way through it, and then you get kind of because you get like scored at the end.
At the end, it's like, how many aliens did Kirk fuck this episode? And if it's 0, that's just a fail right off the bat. You get the 3-star like empty slot, and none of them are filled in.
Right, because you filled nothing of your own.
Yeah. Oh God.
Andrew, this is too raunchy of the show. This show's too raunchy for the show.
What the fark? Oh.
What the fark indeed. I know. I've been watching that show. That is the TOS, the original series. That is my thing that I bought a DVD of, and then or Blu-ray rather. That's the other thing. Is like I realize if unless you're like a crazy binging person, it's so much cheaper just to buy a show than just like watch it all, and then instead of just like paying for streaming services.
Yeah.
Then you have it on your shelf.
Right, and like. It'll take me months, if not a year, to watch all of that show. And but also I because it got me obsessive with like sets, you know, and like I know this isn't real, but it's like that's the point. Like humans can accept we have like we can suspend our disbelief on things. It's why like lo-fi stuff and low-res stuff works in games. It doesn't need to be hyper-realistic, you know.
I find low resolution in 3D like such a relief because suddenly you don't have to fill like a 1080p or a 4K screen with buckets of detail and buckets of pixel. You can just make an impression on the audience. It's very nice.
Yeah, like those like a lot of those games like don't look worse, you know.
Yeah. Your mind fills in the blanks and then you're like, "Oh, it's a weird little car." Right. That's great.
Like, have people heard of this thing called live theater? They do not build diners and a million different locations for those live theaters to take place in, but people still believe that these things are happening.
Yeah, the suspension of disbelief.
Right. The human ability to believe in the stories, you know?
Has there been an Indiepocalypse game that has given you suspension of disbelief the best, Andrew? Given you're the Indiepocalypse curator?
I don't know. I think all of them like this.
Oh, you.
Shucks. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like the thing is, like because I'm also a bad person to ask for this kind of thing because I'm a real freak about it. I just kind of can dive into everything, you know, more or less.
Yeah, I think I was self-indulgent enough to ask you for feedback on the game, and you were like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's good, Daniel. I had fun."
Yeah,
I was like, "All right."
I'm a bad person to ask like just because I will like. Unless you make something boring, I'm always going to be like interested.
That's a good thing to be for a podcast host.
Yes, right.
No, you can't be impartial like this. You got to tell us right now which one is your favorite one.
Is Conturbation the best one?
Is Conturbation Andrew's favorite Indiepocalypse game? It is.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
Rightly so, but you know.
That is like if you're like, Andrew, I'm gonna murder you with this gun that I have to your head.
Yeah.
And I'll say
End of stage.
I'll say Conturbation. No, what is
I mean, the shader on the text on that game looked really good. I saw like some interview with you where you said you liked it, and then I played it, and I was like, wow, this is really good.
It is. It's
That's
like, and that was like in the 3rd issue, and it made me think, man, this Indiepocalypse thing, it's all right.
Wow.
And now you've been doing it.
Better luck next year, all other indie developers.
Yes.
We gotta do more
Right.
to match it.
You can't dethrone collaboration, but that's like, it's not about my personal taste, you know. 'Cause my personal taste is, you know, whatever.
But this is your show.
Yeah.
It's all about you get to decide whether it's about you or not. And I think it should be because I got no opinions about anything.
But my personal taste is all over the place. Like, you know,
Ah,
I talked about my obsession with Stalker, but also I'm obsessed with Phantom of the Paradise.
it goes all over.
Yeah, it's like varied. I just watch real schlocky movies, and I'm like, yeah, those were fun to watch. I enjoyed watching those movies. Man, I watched Escape from New York for the first time last night. I'm like, Snake Plissken's a cool ass dude.
Did they escape from New York?
He did escape from New York.
Oh, great. Thank goodness.
Good for him.
I'm like, I get why Hideo Kojima thinks this guy is so cool.
Oh my god. Saying Hideo Kojima reminded me of his fucking entrance at the Game Awards. Did you actually watch it?
No,
Game
I
Awards?
don't
No.
watch any award shows.
No.
No.
I'm sure it's gotten gift, but like there's like a door on the stage that he just emerges out of, and he's the only one that does that. And I'm like, you fucking like, you only Hideo Kojima could get away with something like that. I don't think if they tried to do that with like the developer of Peggle that they would get the same reaction.
No, because they're like so desperate to make like video game auteurs or whatever.
Do you listen to his was it he has a podcast or whatever?
No.
Do you listen to any other podcasts? This is a good question actually.
None that have to
As
do
a
with
podcast maker.
none that have to do with video games.
Oh, okay.
My podcast habits are like 99% LA comedy podcasts.
That sounds healthy. Or healthier than video game podcasts.
So I couldn't tell you about Hideo Kojima's podcast, but if you wanted me to tell you about Doughboys, I can tell you about Doughboys. I did realize in 2020, my unofficial goal in 2024 is I realized it is easier. Like the path of me from here to getting onto Doughboys is more realistic than me getting into like any video game coverage ever again, probably.
Would you prefer that?
I think
Getting onto Doughboy?
I think
Then-
I would love to talk about fast food.
Then that's Providence. I think that you found your path, Andrew.
I do. Even before I was listening to this show, partially why I got into it is because I do. A long time listener to Indiepocalypse Radio will know that I love just to talk about junk food and fast food and other people's like food options, you know.
I think I learned about canned bread from this podcast.
Oh, you didn't know about canned bread?
No, but now I really want to try it. In the same way, I've never been to a Waffle House in the United States.
Oh.
I would like to just experience a Waffle House, just because I feel like it has this mythology around it.
It's good.
You know?
Yeah. As a northerner, I went to a Waffle House once when I went to a convention down in Atlanta, and it was good. Like I got a bunch of. It was also at like an anime convention, so I was like, I waded through the different anime cosplayers and picked up a Waffle House order and ate waffles on the way walking back to my hotel.
Wow, that's cool.
It was cool.
Sometimes when I visit the United States, and obviously like Canada like is in the shadow of American culture, so this isn't like terribly
That's
crazy.
all right. I went to Smokes when I went to Toronto.
Good. I've never been to Smokes because I'm on the other side, but I will go someday. Sometimes I found visiting parts of the United States, I would see something that's so like iconic, like the Empire State Building, and my brain would think it was imitating the Empire State Building on TV or something like that.
Right.
Like my gut instinct to be like typical, and then I'd be like, no, wait, that's the OG Daniel. Like that's the real deal. Like that's the king. Like
Yeah, we have these here.
yeah, like I was like, wow, that totally like feels like Alcatraz or something like that. And then like, no, Daniel, like Get it together. That's the real deal. Like, I don't know. It's like this, like almost gut check. Maybe just because I'm so like TV internet pilled.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
But what is now important questions? What is traveling abroad? What is a food that you were like is like a staple that you took that you realized you took for granted that you would not find that you couldn't find in the U.S.
Probably coffee crisp.
What the hell
I've
is
never even heard of those. What is that?
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is that good shit. This is like chocolate
Oh, I don't
wafers with and they
Yeah,
got
they're
like
really
a coffee
good.
fler to them.
Hmm.
Also,
get- yeah,
y'all
those-
got like Smarties, but not like chocolate Smarties,
Yes.
right? Like you got like the Rockets or whatever as candy.
our Smarties are like the chalk.
That's illegal. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. It
We
should
did
always be chocolate.
No, they are. We like chocolate too much. Let's just start at chalk.
I'm sure that's how it went in the boardroom. It's just like, kids are getting too much of this chocolate shit. All right, they start erasing the board that says chocolate on it, and they're like, "Wait, stop! I have an idea. That's it.
Huh.
Give that man a raise." But yeah, no, coffee crisp is the big one for me.
Tim. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Tim Hortons is kind of a garbage company that doesn't pay their temporary foreign workers very well, but
And it
if
sucks
you-
too.
it does suck. But if you land in Vancouver Airport and then transfer to another airport with a small domestic tiny flight to go to somewhere else in the region, there's a little Tim Hortons there that feels very like welcome home, have a bagel and cream cheese sort of thing like that, and that's very.
I also visited a Tim Hortons while I was there.
What was your impression?
Well, I don't drink coffee,
Mm.
so I got
Your
like
You're
coffee
basically
sucks.
a Canadian now, though, so congratulations.
I got like a twist, some kind of twist,
Ooh.
breakfast twist.
Mm.
a Tim's
It was-
twist.
it
The
was
the
fine.
classic Tim twist.
Classic Tim twist. I thought about Timbits. I'm like,
Oh yeah. You have to be like 4 years old and have a Timbit, because then it's like huge for your tiny hands.
well, when I was 4 years old, I was eating Munchkins, of course.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's lost on me.
well, as you know, wait, it's wait a minute. Is that just not the donut holes? Is what their actual thing is called, right? They're called donut holes. Munchkins is the Dunkin' Donuts equivalent.
I've never been to Dunkin', and I know America runs on it, but
It does run on it, and being from New England, that's the birthplace of it.
oh really?
Yeah,
Wow. You can say you own that sort of thing.
I mean, I'm specifically from Massachusetts, which has even more. Is like literally from Massachusetts. I could drive 40 minutes to where they started Dunkin' Donuts.
So you've been to the original one.
No, of course not. But I could.
Hmm.
I could try. I could drive there if I wanted to.
Hmm. Is the founder of Dunkin' Donuts named Dunkin' Donuts like Tim Hortons? Or
It seems
that-
unlikely.
okay, I had to ask just to be safe.
One
you
second.
know,
Let me double check to make sure.
Sir Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. No, Bill Rosenberg. Just another name. Born in Boston, died in Mashpee.
Bayou, do you have any food you like
That's
that you appreciate when you travel?
Now, see, here's the embarrassing thing.
Yes.
I've never been off the continental US.
Oh.
I've been on a plane maybe like I could count the number of times I've gone on a plane on my hands.
Yeah.
So I am very, very untraveled.
To be fair, in all fairness, the first I've gone is Toronto, which is for New Englander, not very far.
You do not need to be embarrassed about that. I think that is a valid, normal thing to think. But regardless, you're allowed to pick some sort of comfort that you enjoy when you go
But
back from
are
traveling.
you a lifelong Midwesterner?
Now, see, I was born in California, and then I went to Indiana after a series of unfortunate events. But I think maybe one of the things I miss is a lot of obscure Asian food. Like I don't even speak Chinese anymore, so I can't even tell you the names.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is like, it's definitely a thing you lose. Even just like if you go to a more suburban area, often it's like, boy, I hope a Thai family moves in nearby. So I get a Thai. And then boy, I hope they open a restaurant,
Yeah,
or else I have to drive 50 minutes to find a Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
If you go back to California, would there be anything you'd look for, even if like it's okay if you don't know the name? I'm just kind of curious. Like,
well, there used to be a chain restaurant called Curry House, but they shut down like before the pandemic, and I've never really been able to find any other Japanese curry places like that since. I used to live in like the kind of Orange County, Disneyland-ish area
Right.
of Anaheim.
That was gonna be the follow-up question, because California itself massive, so it's like, is a NorCal or SoCal kind of thing.
It's a SoCal area.
Yeah, that Orange County, LA sort of giant sprawl. Which also, yes, there's a lot of food, and then just that general area.
For sure. It was just home to a whole lot of different cultures. One of the apartments that I lived in time, you can walk down, you can get Mexican food, Peruvian food, Chinese, Korean food, all sorts of cuisines just like right next to each other. It was really great.
Yeah. I think that one of the first things that I look out for if I go to a new place is definitely like a good like kanji house. You know what I'm saying? Like the that is just like perfect comfort food for me. And if I can't find it, then I get very stressed out.
For sure. I miss eating congee.
Yeah.
Now here's the question: could I even where would I even get that?
You got to come out to Vancouver.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got tons of them out here.
Are there any cons in Vancouver?
Do we got VanCaf?
Yeah, can I sneak in a van calf?
Yeah. I'll get a booth and then just fill it with all of y'all, all the indie devs I can find. We'll just take up one table.
Because I'm looking into I'm thinking of like Staples in Austin soon.
You mean like the
Ooh.
store?
No, or I forget what it's called. I think it's just called Staple. It's like an indie comic show, but it looks like they also accept games.
Ooh.
Staple is how it's pronounced. Yeah, zines, comics, zines, art, crafts, games, and more. So I'm trying to keep an eye on and get a table for Staple, maybe.
What does your convention like roadmap look like in the future? Like, are you gonna be hitting mostly American stuff, or is Canada gonna be on your list of stops?
Well, the last one I visited was a Canzine in Toronto.
Yeah, you were mentioning.
Yeah, so like I have no issue with Canada. It's mostly travel is expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, and as you could tell, as two Indiepocalypse contributors, the cash does not flow like water around here.
That's valid.
As recipients of the Indiepocalypse $6 promise.
The $6 tier.
Calvino, when was the last time you got that $indie? When was the last time you received that vaunted $6 to $8 PayPal from me?
It's just like it's like a big money hole, Like I don't really look at it because it gets depressing from time to time, so I don't keep track of that.
Right.
But I would want to say like I think I got one a few months ago and it surprised me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, one of these. Yeah, I like money.
Well, you're currently at 260, so you're about 2 issues away from another two issue purchases away from another payout, I believe.
Hell yeah, boy! You guys heard it. You guys heard it out there. You got to get that issue right now so that I can buy a shitty Tim Hortons McTwist. Or
Nope. Actually, looks like 3 issues.
Oh.
If 3 people will purchase a copy of Indiepocalypse 34, then you will receive $5.73 American
cash prizes.
Yes.
Incredible. Okay, so I have a proposal for you. It's not about the issue or anything like that, but it's about cons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you consider not like hiring people at con locations to represent Indiepocalypse. Is that something that you can do? Or what?
I mean, theoretically. Well, I mean, part of like as contributors, I've mentioned this. I think probably at some portion. Did I? If you wanted codes or copies, I have no issues with people selling the issues they were in at events.
See, the main thing for me is like, I think that the cool thing that you're doing right now is that like physical, like purchase, right? Like the tape. Everyone wants that tape.
Yeah, the people are knocking down the doors like, we want more Indiepocalypse tapes.
They're clamoring for it.
I mean, I'm joking, but I have sold like 100 of them within a year. So.
Yeah, no, I think so too. But like, if that's the case, I kind of am wondering if you would be like willing to ship those out to people. Like, like, hey, I'm going to like whatever con. Like, here's my
whatever con.
Yeah, here's my like, was it like Girl Guides-esque like box of like of like goods that you could buy. They're not chocolate almonds, but they are indie games. You wanna buy? Like, would you be willing to do something like that?
I think if people said, "Hey, I want to do this," I don't think I particularly I'm thinking of this year. Like, how can I get it into like different game shops? You know, selling it to game shops.
Ooh, yeah.
When I was at Canzine, someone at a university bought them for their library.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
Like, you're in a university and you want to encourage people to buy your university to buy Indiepocalypse for your library.
Yeah. So does your library have like a zine section? Because I know that some of them do.
My library was closed. I don't live in the secret of Indiepocalypse is you live in a cheaper, poorer area. It's easier to live.
So there's like no library? What are you talking
I think
about?
it's back occasionally.
Oh, wow.
There was a time where I think the library just could not be funded to be opened.
Oh no.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So it kind of like ebbs and flows. I believe it did bounce back though.
Oh, that's good.
But like,
yeah, library is so important. All you people out there on the internet, support your local libraries.
Yes, yeah,
it's true.
And chances are you can like go to your library's website and just like order books and then like from a whole network.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up? I went to the like library that's close by here. Like went on their website. They got like fucking Mario Wonder on there. Like it's on queue, obviously, because everyone loves Mario. But like they got like new games on there, and I always expected it to be like, you know, you would go on there and it would be like, we got NHL 94 or something. You know, like stuff that they were able to buy at the end of like an EB Games' like lifespan or something like that, like at the bargain bin. But like no, they got like new games in there and stuff.
And
I remember being a tails-pilled teenager, trademark, and then I remember the local library nearby had Shadow of the Colossus, and I was very impressed at the time. I was like, someone read a magazine and thought, what should the kids play? And they thought, let's get them to talk about Shadow of the Colossus, and that made me very impressed with my local library.
No reason your local library can't have Indiepocalypse in it.
That's true. Yeah.
It should. Yeah, just ready to go with Freddy Fish on one of those PCs right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Freddy Fish, Matazuki's Closet, you know. just like, you know, as you age into them, you're just like, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. Someone just like DMs me and they're like, hey, when I was 6, I played Boyle's Otters, Valor, and Death, and wow, that was crazy. And I was like, you should not have played that at age 6. I'm sorry.
No, but it's like, maybe you should have played at age 6.
Do y'all ever think about how... Sorry, this is going back... You mentioned Shadow of the Colossus, and that triggered thought in my mind. You ever think about how Japan Studio has been closed for like 3 years now?
Yeah.
That's the saddest shit. Like, how did this happen? And it felt like it was like last year. You know what I mean? It's been 3 years already.
Yeah,
Because no one bought Gravity Rush. I'm sorry. I mean, I bought it, but no one did.
Oh,
Who
you
owns
know what?
Gravity Rush now?
I was thinking of games to get today. That's what I'll get. I got Gravity Rush too.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Gravity
Played
I
on
Rush.
your
have-
Vita.
Heck yeah. I have 2 physically, and I wish I got one physically for like $30, but now it is $1 million.
Oh my god, you're right.
It's a grown-up. It's a disgusting amount of money.
Yes, it is.
But-
Never mind. Maybe
but
I
this-
will not get Gravity Rush.
The soundtrack is lovely. It's super cool. Like, yeah, I wish they'd bring it back, but
I mean, I guess
What-
I could just buy it digitally for like a reasonable price. I'm sure.
it's the future. Discless PS5. What
Nope.
what do you miss?
I specifically
Oh.
got a disc version.
Good. Me too. Bilbino, what do you miss from Japan Studio?
I mean, like Echo and Shadow, obviously, but like as far as like franchises, man, like looking up a list right. Legend of Dragoon. Oh shit. Man,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Now we're fucking nobody. I was gonna say nobody cares about Wild Arms, but like I'm sure there's people out there.
I remember you linked me a Wild Arms PSP game and it had incredible art, but then also it had an incredible kind of like moderny Western fusion soundtrack. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I should like this game a lot, but I haven't played it.
Weird.
Sort of thing.
Weird how
Mhm.
that works. Isn't there like a new Patapon game coming out too?
Really?
It's
yeah,
like
it was
not
actually
Patapon.
on Kickstarter, and they
Yeah.
got funded like crazy
Yeah.
and stuff. Obviously, it was Rat-a-tat-tat or something
That's-
like that.
It yes, because obviously it'll get funded because it's Patapon. Oh my god, this game looks so good. I want to play this again. But like, yeah, Rat-a-tat-tat. Kickstarter is still kicking out those games.
Right. It's like
Yeehaw.
it's like a weird spot now where just like old Japanese devs go to like.
Oh really?
It feels like it, right? Because that's Rat-tat-tat, Bloodstain.
Yeah, that's true.
Those.
I haven't been keeping up with that ecosystem, but it like there was a period of time where it was like not like scorned or anything, no, by no means, but like it was just kind of like, oh, it's a Kickstarter game, huh?
Right.
You know?
Well, I think that there's 2 types. There's the type that is like, this is our entire budget Kickstarter game, and then there's the we're proving that Kickstarter is like, that number's really low for making that game because it's basically just proving that they can have funding,
Yeah. I think that what was one game that like got on there that was kind of in both camps? Was it Shenmue?
Probably. I think, no, Shenmue I felt was very much like, Shenmue's on Kickstarter, but we're announcing at E3 that it's going to be on Kickstarter. It's like,
right.
An indie game you might have not have heard of.
Yeah, a little title. We
A hidden
kept it in our
gem.
back pocket. A gem, yes.
it is. Listen, as you can guess from the RGG talk earlier, I do love Shenmue. I think it fucking rules, man.
I mean, did you play the? I haven't played the newest.
No, I have
One.
not. I played the first 2 and I loved them.
Yeah.
For a while, our friends and I were asking each other if we wanted to play any games of Lucky Hit.
Ah, yes, very good, very good.
It's like, hey, buddy, you looking for a game of Lucky Hit?
I love these. Anytime you open like a gacha
Yeah.
like bubble, you always have to be like, oh, I love these. Who's this?
Huh? Fang?
Just a little friend.
Fang? I got a Fang.
Nozomi, what are you doing in here?
Plays the cat. Huh?
I really love it whenever you get like a Sega property and Ryo is just like, what the fuck? Who is this? It's just like they just used a random noise clip, but when it lines up, it's just like, oh, that's perfect. I love that.
Truly.
Sega, never heard of it.
Yeah. I hate this one. He's like holding like a tails or something.
How dare you?
Look, this is a Big the Cat respect zone, but You can shit on Tails all you want.
This is in this. I have that actually in front of my house. It's one of those signs. Is in this house we respect Big the cat.
Good.
We play Tails games. Anyway,
I would have a lot of respect for Sega if they just made like a standalone Big the Cat fishing with like 100 levels or like huge
Well,
amount of fish sort of thing.
I mean, Big's Big Adventure or whatever it's called is about as close you can get to that, right?
That's
Remember
true. Yeah, I didn't play it though, but I liked the Breath of the Wild spin they had on it.
They
sort of
had
thing.
that fucking like hot dog weenie moment when you come out of the cave and it's just like, oh, look upon my lands. There's like Green Hill Zone over there.
Wow, I'm gonna go there.
What Sonic knockoff game? You get to choose one that you can make. What Sonic knockoff game are you creating a sequel for? I know my answer.
oh, I thought you could like. Can I just make any? Can I make any sort of Sonic?
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
Can I make a? I want to make a long open world adventure game. I'm just gonna rip off Red Dead, like kind of like, but I'm just gonna make it Fang. My hero
Oh,
No.
yeah. That's good.
Fang. Just like in the true spirit of just like Sonic ripping off things, but making it Sonic. Because I feel like that's at the heart also of AAA game design is just like ripping off something.
Yeah. Theft is very important.
I would go the opposite of my licensed media, where I would just go shameless and like what is popular and how could I insert Fang into it.
Very good. Very
Do one
good.
for our boy.
He's got a cowboy hat and he's got a little pop gun.
Has Fang had a game?
No, he's just in Sonic the Fighters.
Really? Well, I mean, he has a lot of cameo appearances, right? Like in I think he's in what's the last one to come out? Superstars? No. What is it called?
I don't know.
New Sonic game.
I like him because he's not even like his title is Fang the Sniper. He's not like
Yeah.
Fang the animal.
You've never seen an Australian sniper before? They hang out in trees. They're I don't know. This joke's going nowhere. My game would be Sega Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
The one with the golden tea ball that you can spin.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Daniel.
So like Sonic Jam has that hub world, and I feel like I'd play like a whole game just with the gameplay of the hub world of Sonic Jam. Like I liked the jumping, I liked the moving, I liked all the little ring collecting, and just like the camera placement. It just all felt right to me. Felt more right than Sonic R. I want that.
What'd you think of Roboblast 2?
I really liked it, and I played it as a child, so
Yeah.
I never played Doom, but I played Sonic Roboblast 2 online in little rooms and stuff. So I was into that. If somehow Sega made a console port of Roboblast 2, I would probably buy the limited run version on Switch.
If you ever wanted an indicator as to how powerful the Sonic community is, and you didn't you averted your eyes to the whole what's that expo called Sage? If you averted your eyes to that and just were like, show me how sickos they are and how powerful they are, Sonic Roboblast 2 should be the first thing that you show them, because that's all open source, right? Like that's all
we were
community
talking,
driven.
Dominic, we had a guest on here. Was it last week? We were talking to Dominic.
Oh shit!
About
I haven't been keeping up. I haven't been listening
we were
to all
talking
your.
all about, because he was talking about he likes Doom stuff a lot. He like Doom mods and things. And he was talking all about Sonic Roboblast, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And like just like the madness and how like that has its own mod community within inside of it.
Yeah, they have a kart racer.
Exactly.
mod.
Yeah. He was talking
Yeah.
about like how it's like truly the most nutso thing in the world.
Yeah. God, Sonic fans are so powerful.
Yes.
Infinitely scary. I feel like it's just like there's no other fandom that really compares.
But that said, do you have a Sonic game you would want to make?
Honestly, I haven't really been following on any of the mainline Sonic games because they do not have a Chow Garden. If it doesn't have a Chow Garden, what's the point?
Ooh, yes, yes. I've actually been saying this for a long time. People want Chow Garden. And this can go either way, but I'm gonna put it out there. I think if you released a Pokemon Go style game with chows, it would make bank.
Honestly, yes.
I mean, I would play it. I would want to get those, like, what are those rods? The Chaos rods or whatever. They look like Freezies.
My changing up my rip-off game instead. I'm just doing Slime Rancher, but it's chows.
Ah, yes, very good.
I'm pitching out to my Sega exec. But speaking of pitching things at Sega execs, I'm pitching to these 3 Sega execs here at the end of the show. We've been going for over 2 hours, which is about time to wrap it up.
That's a lot of hashtag content.
That is a lot of hashtag content.
Yeah, baby.
I crave the content. I live for the content. I go, give me that tent. Yes, craving the tent. Love it. Can't get enough of it. But people presumably don't have all forever to listen to. They have other things to listen to where people, I don't know, not even available. My God, Gravity Rush 2. Dare I type you into price charting?
Oh no.
It's not as bad.
Oh, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
You're in the clear.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm going to get Gravity Rush 2.
Proud of you.
Maybe I'll get both Gravity Rushes. Who knows? Thank you. Gravity Rush Remastered, a little pricier, but still affordable, I think.
People play Gravity Rush.
Yeah. It looks cool as hell. Anyway, we're not going to get sidetracked like I do so often on the show and just continue on rambling. Continue on to the secret 3rd hour of Indiepocalypse Radio. We are instead.
We didn't get the right confidant unlock to get that ending.
No. The third hour is unrecorded. Hanging out.
Perfect.
But so we're gonna get to the important part. If you're familiar with podcasts and you're like, they're ending, but they're missing a segment. Even podcasts with no segments have this one segment at the end where people promote their work. And we're there. We've reached it. All these people here are going to promote their work so you can find it. Daniel, where can people find your stuff if they're looking to find it and you're looking to have it found?
Well, first of all, I have to suggest Indiepocalypse number 46 with the bright blue cover image on it, because, I mean, yours truly is in that.
Yes.
But
From
if you're
someone in the comments goes, is that a Toyoya Lee art? I recognize that immediately.
but
Cool.
if you're
Chinese pixel artist, not game pixel artist, but like does art in pixels.
the real deal.
Yeah.
If you do actually want to look at my other stuff, like my other self-indulgent stuff or Nintendo 64 homebrew, you can find me at danbolt.itch.io. But I'm sure if you just hit me up on LinkedIn, there'll be links there as well.
Yeah,
But it's been, yeah. Go for it. Sorry.
No, go look ahead. Indiepocalypse. It's the beginning of where to find people, not the end of where to find people. You know.
Yeehaw.
That's what I say. It's like, not to be like, oh, I only play Indiepocalypse. Like, no, I start playing Indiepocalypse and then I go to danbolt.io and play all these other games there, and so on and so forth. Balbino, your promotion. Where can people find the work you would like to promote to them?
I post on co-host at Lee, and you can find my games on my website, I guess.
Yes.
radz.one. I could not get the .zone. The TLD for that was all full, so you're gonna have to stick with radz.one for Radzone.
And for the Americans, that's a Z.
Is a Z.
A Z.
Z.
A Z.
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 That's we have another hour of like
arguing
conversation
about
if we talk about
arguing about
this.
Z versus Z.
Oh my god.
No, we don't. I actually, when I talk about the Spectrum, I do call it the ZX because I think that is respecting the culture.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually true. The ZX? Come on.
Blech, gross.
Ugh.
Makes me want to throw up in my mouth. It's the ZX.
That's right.
But arguing about Z's and Z aside, Bayou, where can people find your work if you're looking?
Probably the best place to find my stuff is going to be the tofurox.itch.io. I'm actually ramping up to make a game for the Queer Vampire Game Jam. I'm quite excited for it. It's going to be called Blood in Play, about gay T for T vampire and human. Just dudes being dudes.
Yeah.
So, chances are, if time allows, I'll be doing weekly devlogs about that, and probably just talking a whole lot about it because I'm very excited for that project.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that is. You have, as we mentioned at the top, a lot of credits, and if you go through Tofu Rocks, you just follow that around, you'll find all the other credits. Just like dig around, you know.
I do a whole bunch of stuff. It's about time I started making some of my own games again.
Yeah, that. Hey, you and me both. You and me both. Organize. You're like, oh, these games are cool. What if I made one again? Huh. Well, looking forward to that. When is that jam? Is it?
It's gonna start officially on January 1st and ends on February 20th.
Okay, so you
But
got some time.
they let people start a little bit early, so
Hey.
I've been in pre-production, getting all those documents and stuff ready for everyone.
Yeah, and listen, the thing about game jams is they'll never know when you started, really.
Well,
Don't tell anyone.
I'm keep a secret. Now, I guess it really depends on the game jam, you know. Some are more like guidelines, you know, are like, hey, let's just encourage things. Or sometimes if they're strict and they have contests, they have strict enough rules.
Next time we're on a podcast together, I want to talk game jam strats with you because I feel like there's some things that you can do that like give you a bit of an edge, and one of those things is like doing stuff a little early.
well, it's a little hard because there are a lot of jams that are like, we'll announce a secret theme right before, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, great, now I can't pre-plan, so it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
you gather a whole bunch of people, and it's like, we're excited to do a thing. What are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's jam culture is like it's very good, but it gets very weird sometimes when it becomes too like contesty driven kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is a long discussion that is not designed for the end of a show.
Yes, correct.
I will say, hey, Indiepocalypse, you know where to find it. It's indiepocalypse.com. I do get that URL. I've got that. Indiepocalypse.com's the new issue number 48 just came out today. Pick it up. A lot of fresh new games in it. Or not fresh new, I mean one new game, but 9 new to you games is what I like to call them because you got to be in here deep to like know all of these games, you know. And new to you, functionally the same as new. Doesn't matter what year it came out, you know? File off the edges. Say it came out. You could play Darkseid right now if you never. And I could just say Darkseid came out in 2024, and how would you know? You know? Oh, fucking this guy. But that's Darkseid too, though. Technically, I believe.
Technically, yeah. People play Darkseid.
That's the
You
FMV
got a lot
one.
you got a lot of homework tonight.
Go home. After you stop listening to this, don't play any FMV games, but watch a bunch of people who play FMV games, and they're a chore to play, or play them with friends. But they're a true FMV adventure games of the 90s and 2000s are one of the greatest gifts to our medium, I think. Oh my god. Anyway, that's where you go or subscribe at indiepocalypse.com/Patreon. We've got multiple tiers if you're looking for just commissioned games or if you want to go up to get both physical zines and cassettes mailed to you. Cassettes being USB sticks and cassette cases, of course. All available through Patreon. at discounted yearly rates if you want to get that. Also, it's the only place where you can get just the commissioned games every month for only $5 a month, which is like, hey man, if you got a game, if you're picking up games like Boyle's Otters, Valors, and Death at $5 a month, what a bargain, you know? That's almost a steal, honestly.
And it makes a
Cha-ching.
great stocking stuffer for next year.
Yes. Speaking of those tapes, indiepocalypse.com/tapes, where you can get physical versions of Indiepocalypse mailed directly to your house, and the art looks great inside that cassette case format. And you can trade them with your friends. You can be like, hey, you can send a friend a zip file, and that's fine. But if you hand your friend a USB stick inside a cassette case, that takes up space in their house and in their brain. And it encourages them to like, oh, I guess I'll try out this Indiepocalypse thing. You can, if you want to join Indiepocalypse, indiepocalypse.com/submit. Always open. No restrictions aside of repeat contributors. But that's the only real restriction that exists. Otherwise, anything that's game adjacent, submit it there. I just recently started indiepocalypse.com/ I think I call it Tape Club. I think is the URL. This is a fresh URL. The first time I've said it out loud, so I don't know it off the top of my head. Tape Club. Or I might have mentioned it last week too. I don't remember. Yes, indiepocalypse.com/ tape club. If you are like, man, those tapes are so cool, how do I get them for my games? And let me tell you, you go there, you fill out the form, and you basically I make them for you at cost. I sell them to you. I either sell them for you and or sell them to you. Either is fine by me. I mentioned that like games need more like indie comic zine fest type shows that you could attend. And to do that, though, game developers need things to sell there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think,
if you use offer code Pizza Pranks on checkout,
you'll
you
get
get
exactly the price I charge you.
0% off.
0% off. I've got three already. I've got two, a couple of collections from. Leo, I'm like, what is his online handle? Nardo23 maybe? I forget. People have too many names in different places, and I forget them. But I've got that, and I've got Coda available. 2 packs from there, an exploration pack and a cooking pack from him, and I've got Coda from FinDevi that I've printed already. And you could also, dear listener, be one of those developers and to have their games. I think it's cool. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Daniel, Babino, Vayu, thank you, all three of you, for being here. Thank you for making games and hanging out and doing all the stuff you do. Thank you, audience, for listening. I remember it 2 weeks in a row. Look at that.
Yay!
Tell your friends about Indiepocalypse. It's budgeted that it will survive if nobody buys it, but wouldn't it be cool if people did? That's it. That's the show. I'm finding Fubar so that I can end the show. Goodbye.